Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs. Well, actually, they were starting to grow up, and yet they still lived with their mother in her house. So they decided it was probably about time for them to leave their mother's house and go make a living for themselves. They packed their stuff, and their mother gave them each enough coins to build themselves a house. And they said their farewells. "Bye, Mother! Thanks for what you've done for us," they all said. "Bye, children. Good luck," she replied, and went into her house to cry. The 3 little pigs had not been traveling for long when they came across a vendor with straw. The first little pig asked the vendor, "Please, kind sir, how much will you take for this straw?" The vendor said, "What on earth does a little pig like you want with some dusty old straw like this?" But he did oblige and sold the straw to the little pig for about 1 coin in the end, since he had nothing else to do with it. And the first little pig took the straw, went and built his interesting little house, despite a few warnings from his older brother about a big bad wolf. Anyway, the second little pig and the third little pig had not been walking for too much longer when they came across another vendor with some sticks. The second little pig asked the vendor, "I will give you 2 coins for these sticks. Will you take this amazing deal?" The vendor replied, "This is very good wood. It came from all the way across the ocean. 2 coins is pretty cheap, but I will take it for 3. So the second little pig took the wood for 3 and went and built his house, even though his brother continued to warn him about this big fearsome wolf. Finally, the third little pig came across a vendor with some bricks. He asked, "Hello, sir. How much will you take for these lovely bricks?" The vendor replied, "Well, these are some very nice bricks, the nicest around. But I will give them to you for 5 coins. So the little pig took them for 6 just to be nice. He went and built his quite bulletproof house with an interesting design plan, of which came in later in the story. Anyway, just as the first little pig finished building his house, the big, fearsome, ugly, bad, treacherous, and terrible wolf came by. Did I forget to mention that he was nasty and very strong? Well, anyway, he was all of the above. And he knocked on the little pig's door and asked, "Please, little pig, let me in." Of course, little pig did not let him in and told him to go away. The big bad wolf was enraged and said, "Fine, I will huff and I will puff and I will blow it in as if it were straw." And he did. But the little pig had just enough time to run out and get to his brother's wooden house. In his rage, the wolf did not notice this until the pig had quite a head start, and he was able to track it down to the wooden house. So he came up to the wooden house, the wooden door, and asked, "Please, little pigs, let me in." The 2 little pigs inside said, "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." And the wolf said, "Well then, I guess I'll just have to knock this stupid little door in." And the wolf did, and he came running in and destroyed the complete house, although the 2 little pigs had just enough time to escape out the back door and run to their brother's brick house. Once again, the wolf was able to track them down to the brick house and knocked on its door and said, little pig, let me in." The third little pig had a plan, so he said, "Look, if you want pork for dinner tonight, well then you're going to have to come down the chimney for it." The third little pig's design plan was in his chimney. He had made it so there was only a small opening in the very bottom that he could stick a couple sticks, maybe more, of dynamite in the bottom. So right as the wolf was coming down the top of the chimney, he lit the fuses for the dynamite, and when the wolf reached the bottom, the dynamite blew up, launching the wolf out the top, all the way to the moon, where the wolf sits to this day. And the little pigs lived happily ever after, and they learned an important lesson too on how to build a house properly. Not only this, but they also, at the time they didn't know this, but they also had invented the first gun. Well, that's all. I hope you guys enjoyed.